And getting back to the transfer portal side of things, what would be your biggest target in regards to positional needs? What do you think needs to get done between now and when the season starts?
Well, we've talked about for years Nebraska's biggest issue being in the trenches, the offensive and the defensive line. Nebraska lost Colton Feast at defensive tackle. They also lost Devin Drew. Both of those guys were rotators, and Colton Feast could have potentially played this year. Could have played a significant role this year. You've got Stephon Wynn, Ty Robinson, and Nash Hutmacher coming back on the inside. But if Nebraska's going to run a 3-3-5, and they're not going to be limited to a three-man front. Let's be clear about that. But if they are going to run some of that three-man front, you'd hope they can get another big body who could be a force or at least be semi-dominant to help hold it down. When you're going to run a 3-3-5 defense like that, if you're lacking on the inside middle interior, right, you don't have a big enough body to command the attention that you would need, then you can have the center or one of the guards take on that nose tackle, and another one of those linemen can just drop back to the second level and take on a linebacker. With a big body and with someone who can be that force, it causes a lot more problems and it helps the defense. It'll really help Tony White out. So I would say defensive line is probably the number one. Number two is offensive lineman because we just lost Walter Rouse. The Walter Rouse commitment, I'm telling you, is going to be one that will haunt us, in my opinion, because there isn't too much depth at tackle. I think Nebraska brings back Hunter Anthony, Bryce Benhart, Turner Corcoran, all with starting experience. But beyond that, they're a bit limited. So the tackle is going to be the second position of need.
Also, here in the last week, I wanted to hit you up on Billy Kemp coming in from Virginia, where he had a highly productive career, top 5 in school history and in receptions, had a big season 2 years ago with 75 catches, I believe. Just your thoughts about how he fits into the offense and what he adds.
Well, he was a game changer for Virginia because he could do so many different things. When you watch his film, and I've watched it a couple times now, his highlights on YouTube, it's easy to find. Just type in Billy Kemp, Virginia, and you'll see plenty. He looked like Wan'Dale Robinson. He looked like what we had hoped Alante Brown would be. Now, if he would have come in the Scott Frost era, it would have made total sense, and I would understand what his role was. Now, with Matt Rule, I'm not so sure. I know that they used Josh Fleeks in that kind of way. They had him running some routes. They had him lining up as a running back. They had him as a return man. So Josh Fleeks and Billy Kemp both coming in show me that Matt Rule wants to have these versatile weapons who he can move around the field and play from different spots. And I'm guessing that's what they're going to do. Nebraska right now doesn't have a deep threat receiver, and I don't know that he is one. But for these 10, 15-yard routes or anything shallow over the middle that can allow him to get space to run, kind of as a running back, I think that's what Matt Rule's looking for. And you don't have to rely on the quarterback to worry about those 30-plus yard bombs and being accurate when we've seen some issues with Sims' accuracy in the past. And Casey's obviously had his shoulder issue, which hasn't allowed him to be as accurate deep downfield. So hopefully these are good receivers who can win over the middle and win in the short game.